was born in dysfunction. They all drank. I picked it up at the age of 12, and there was a lot of abuse. So the only time I would stop doing drugs and drinking was when I was pregnant. CPS came to my door, but they came with cops. First I was like, I'm not gonna open the door. And then he was like, if you open the door. After that, I like spiraled out of control. Just looking for something to feel the emptiness and the hurt and things like that. I was looking for it in men, drugs, money, work. Nothing ever satisfied that. I heard the voice of God say, and I felt seen, and I felt loved, and I felt the grace and the mercy, and I felt all of that stuff that was holding on to me. It just broke off. It felt like 1,000 pounds came off me, and I've been free since, and I have never looked back, you know. Well, Shane, my story's kind of long, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I'm from Sacramento, and I'm a mother of 2, and I've been married for 2 years to this wonderful man here. Well, I came from a very dysfunctional upbringing. Alcoholism was very rampant in the family. I was raised by a lot of women, and they all drank, and that in turn, I've seen it as normal, so I picked it up at the age of 12, and from there it like snowballed into other things. And there's some times I like say when I was like 15, I got hit by a car, and I broke my leg. I have titanium here. I broke this here in my head. There was two clots, and so the surgeons went in. They took it out, and I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to, just to live with this, and so from there though, that's where I became addicted. I got addicted to alcohol and to pills, and then the weed came, and so it was always given to me. Like I said, I was born in dysfunction, and so the adults thought it was okay to give the youth alcohol and weed and buy cigarettes if you needed it. So I was already on the way to destruction, and so anyway, I never really stopped doing drugs and alcohol. Like I met my kids' father when I was 25, 26. And we got jumped into a relationship really quickly. And my oldest, he came about a year after dating him. And then that's when meth came. I got addicted to meth. And so shortly after I had him, I'd say about 6 months after, that's when I started doing drugs with their dad. And so it turned into this whole like his mask came off. He when we first got together, he bombed me. He made me feel like I was like the most special woman in the world. And so I stayed with him. And from then I had about 2 years later, I had him, my youngest. And the only time I would stop doing drugs and drinking was when I was pregnant. So that was like really the only time that I really was willing to stay sober. And I had him when I was 29. I'm 39 now. And so after I had him, drugs were already waiting for me. Their dad had a bag of drugs, a pipe loaded. And so we went on this terrible, crazy, sometimes it was beautiful because we had the kids. So, that's the reason why I stayed. It was always the only reason why I stayed. There were so many times where I just wanted to leave, but the kids, I thought maybe it would change his mind on, everything. And so there's a lot of abuse, a lot of craziness. And then about 4 years ago, I had finally got away from him. 4 or 5 years ago, I finally got away, had my own place. And because after I left him, we bounced from motel to motel, and I was just trying to get away, and he would follow us, and he would always find us. And so I finally just said, enough is enough, and I just cut him off. But then I let him back in maybe about a year after I had my apartment. And then, after all that, he would bring drugs, bring the alcohol, and just suck me back in.
Trying to get back.
And so, and it got crazy, it got so bad. we both were violent in the very end because the drugs were pumping, and and so like emotions were raging, and it was he was a very
got dysfunction.
Oh yeah, he was drugs, a very jealous guy. Yeah,
it's all a very toxic situation.
He took them from me for about 3 months. He took them. We didn't have a custody order, so in California the other parent can take them. So he took them for 3 months, and so I had to fight for them. And in the midst of all that, I did get them back, but it took a while.
Yeah.
And then I stopped all contact with him. But then he came around again, and here he comes with his, drugs, and he had money, and he's like, okay, I know you need somebody to watch the kids. I'll look after them while you go to work, because I always, needed somebody to look after the kids. And so he snuck his way back in, and within that time frame, I want to say it was like 2018, 2019, we're like fighting a lot. Somebody called CPS on us. And I'd say about a month later, 2 months, CPS came to my door, but they came with cops. Like, there was so many cops around the apartment.
Yeah.
Like, they would not go away. First I was like, I'm not gonna open the door. And then he was like, if you open the door, I'm gonna kill you. I'll kill the kids. And I was like, no way. I'm just gonna go and face the music. We've been messing up. And so they handcuffed me, and this woman from, she's a social worker, came, and she showed me all the paperwork. This is what's been going on. This is what we have on you. And there's like no denying it. It was right there in black and white. And I was like, dang. Well, they go in and they arrest their dad, take them. Like, it was just like, it happened so fast. But I was able to talk to the police officer, and he was like, you can get the kids dressed, but we have to take them. So they took them. And after that, I like spiraled out of control for a good 6, 7, maybe 8 months. I went and tried to like make my own life, try to get them back. And it was just like, I went deeper into an addiction with meth. It was like, it was just meth, nothing else. And sometimes I would, go on like these roles of drinking straight alcohol. But then, I ended up like online dating, just looking for something to feel the emptiness and the hurt and things like that. I was looking for it in men, drugs, money, work. Nothing ever satisfied that. Even like with, the kids, like it was something that it was like a Band-Aid that I was covering up all the wounds of my childhood, my just everything, because I was molested when I was a little girl. So all these things I was just trying to fill. But then there was one day, my sisters are like, you got to get yourself together. You have to. It's your kids, they need you. And so they like were saying, why don't you just go to a women's home? I was like, no, forget that. I have a job, I have a car, I'm gonna try to get my kids back. I don't need a program. I don't need that. I could do it on my own. And when I was fighting that, they were praying for me. And I say about a month or two later, after we had that conversation, this was in the summer of 2021. I can't really, it was 4 years ago. And I finally just had enough. I was with a gentleman who was like, he had all the drugs, all the alcohol, everything that I desired at that time. He had it all. But there was a night I was just in the room with him, and he was sleeping, and I just I heard the voice of God say, go. And I couldn't deny it. I was like, what the heck? And in the midst of all this, I'm high, I'm drinking, I'm living a life of this like straight debauchery. And I said yes to that voice. So the next day I got up, I packed up my car, and I told this person I was with, I was like, look, I'm gonna go get help. I need to get help. I'll be back in a month, and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I packed up the car, got in touch with my sister, and I was able to see my kids one more time. And I went to that home, and I got help. And it was June 26th of 2020. That was 4 years ago, and I never looked back.
Wow.
And I went to this program. They prayed for me. I gave my life to the Lord, and Jesus set me free from alcoholism, from addiction to sex, from meth addiction, from self-hate, from suicide. Even out there when I was doing all this, I attempted suicide twice. I ended up in the psych ward, and it was just because I was so empty. And all the time I was looking for love Jesus gave me that love. He totally changed me, changed my life. He gave me a wonderful husband. I got my kids back in like 6 months. I got them back. I didn't have to go to the drug classes. I didn't have to do parenting classes. God was just like, here's your kids. And I got them back, and that was 4 years ago. And now I'm on a family vacation with my husband, my kids, and
That's awesome.
I'm like clear mind. I have a clear mind. I have a clear conscience. I have a great relationship with Jesus, and I will never ever be the same because of what the Lord did in my life. And I don't know, for whoever hears this, whoever sees this, that Jesus is the answer. And he heals, he restores, he gives you, he redeems the time. So if you're lost, if you're looking for hope, he's the answer. And like, I had looked, in church, I looked at people, I looked everywhere, but ultimately it was Jesus. When I met him in that area of prayer, like in that church house, because I went to church because the program was you go to church. And so in those times where we would go up to the altar, the Lord met me right there in the dirtiness and the ugliness. Yeah, he met me there, and he heard my cry, and I felt seen, and I felt loved, and I felt the grace and the mercy, and I felt all of that stuff that was holding on to me. It just broke off. It felt like 1,000 pounds came off me, and I've been free since. And I have never looked back. My life is so blessed. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but there's just like a peace. I wake up at peace. I wake up, my kids are with me, and I have, my husband. I get to share my life with him. He serves the Lord too, and so we do it together, and we're walking this walk of faith, and
absolutely,
there's no turning back. There's no turning back. So, what I mean? I get to meet you, and I got to share my story, and so like I said, there's so much peace.
That's a powerful story. Yeah. Like, you overcame so much, and then found God and found love, and
the rest is history.
Yeah. My book is called Light Dawns Within.
Right on.
And I don't go, I was raised Christian, but now I'm a little bit more non-denominational.
Gotcha.
I believe that God talks to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we're all a part of God. God is the great I am, the all that is.
Amen, yeah.
Like, there's nothing outside of God. And so I try to help people tap in and get to know God regardless of their path. If they love Jesus, wonderful. If they love Muhammad, as long as they understand love and follow it in love, I feel like call them whatever you want. I am all for people trying to find that higher power and higher consciousness. If there's a transformative love behind it, that's God. That's what God is, transformative love.
Amen to that. Yeah, so that's my story, and I'm just so glad that I answered that voice, because there was nothing else I could. I just knew when I just knew, I just knew that was God calling me. I was like, holy smokes! Okay,
that's not what I normally feel like. No, sure. that's something
my mind was
connected
clear,
to me
in that moment. So I'm just really glad that I responded, because I could have been dead, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was jumping in cars.
This world is absolutely awful.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible.
I'm from Iowa originally, and it's rampant out there too.
It is. That's terrible.
So, I think the unity one might be a good one for you. I was thinking self-love, but then you said that you're filled with Jesus love.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you're probably not struggling with the self-love anymore. So let's go with unity, because that's just always a good one. So, like I said, I'm kind of a little more non-denominational, but my affirmation for unity goes, I am a divine being of light. I am directly connected to the source of all that is, directly connected to God. Everything is made from this same divine energy. I can see this in the atoms of the world, which are mostly empty space. The emptiness of these atoms of me meld right into the emptiness of the atoms of you. There is no separation. We are all intrinsically indivisible from one another. I am viewing the world through the eyes of unity, and remembering that we are all one. The source is the all is the one.
Oh man, that was cool. I like
you.
that. Well, thank you for letting me share.
Absolutely.
That was
yeah.
that was
Thank you for
pretty.
sharing
Yeah,
your
that was
story.
pretty cool to do.
Can I give you a hug?
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
God bless you, brother.
Yeah. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, you take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All right.